listeners, and welcome to yet another episode of the Nigeria Football Weekly podcast with me, your host, Okereke. Today is episode 28, and we'll be getting back to the regular schedule of the episodes. So going through player performances in the top European leagues, and then touching on any Super Eagles news before finishing up with the ones to watch ahead of the weekend. So without any further ado, we start with the Premier League as usual. Kelechi Iheanacho, Wilfred Ndidi and Ademola Lookman were in action for Leicester City on Saturday at 3 p.m. as they narrowly lost 1-0 to the champions Man City, courtesy of a Bernardo Silva winner. Ndidi started the game as usual, and Brendan Rodgers continued with these 4-2-3-1 experiment formation, which hasn't worked well for them literally in the whole of 2021. So Kelechi Iheanacho and Lookman both started on the bench. They both came on in the 73rd minute and both looked lively. But unfortunately, they just couldn't break down Manchester City, even though they went close with Kelechi setting up Lookman for a chance at a certain point during the game. In all honesty, Rodgers needs to go back to two strikers for his own good, and hopefully we'll see Kelechi start some games very, very soon. Next up for Leicester City, they've got a Europa League game on Thursday night at home against Napoli. So we'll see Victor Osimhen playing against Kelechi Iheanacho and Wilfred Ndidi. I'm definitely looking forward to that one massively. And then on Sunday, they'll be playing Brighton away in the Premier League. So let's see if Brendan Rodgers switches up his tactics for any of those games, because Leicester City have started the season poorly. I think they've got 2 wins from 4. And their 2 wins have been 1-0 against Wolves and 2-1 against Norwich. So it hasn't exactly been great. To be fair, their losses have also been narrow, apart from the West Ham battering which they received a few weeks ago. But we'll keep you posted on how they perform. And then Alex Iwobi for Everton. He played earlier on today, Monday Night Football. Everton beat Burleigh 3-1. He came on in the 87th minute to replace Demarai Gray, who was excellent and scored yet another very, very good goal. Andros Townsend scored probably one of the goals of the season so far in that game too. It was a Townsend special. You all know what I mean by that. Everton were down 1-0, and then they blitzed Burleigh like a 6-minute spell, with Michael Keane scoring the equalizer to cancel out Ben Mee's opener. Next up for Everton, they play Aston Villa away at 5:30 p.m. on Saturday. And then our Watford contingent, Emmanuel Dennis, Etebo and Ekong, they lost yet again 2-0 at home to Wolverhampton after a Serrata own goal, which was very, very unfortunate, but probably one of the funniest own goals you ever see. And Wang Hee-chan, who just came from Leipzig, sealed the game towards the end of the game. Ekong captained the side, so congratulations to him. Definitely a big show of faith. And Etebo and Dennis also started the game, so they're definitely getting the minutes, but we just need to see them do something, because ever since their opening day victory against Aston Villa, they've honestly not been great or looked that good, even though Dennis and Sarr have shown lively touches in all the games they've played since then. Next up for them, they play Norwich away on Saturday at a 3 p.m. kickoff, so that'll be a big match for them, and hopefully they could rectify some of their woeful performances recently. Frank Onyeka at Brentford, his quarantine period was over, so he was back in the squad for Brentford. He came off the bench on Saturday as they conceded a last-minute goal to Leandro Trossard, so they lost 1-0 to Brighton. Next up for them, they play Wolverhampton away in the early lunchtime kickoff on Saturday. So hopefully we should see Frank Onyeka back in the starting lineup for that game. And then moving on to the Championship, Semi Ajayi's West Brom, he's back in their starting lineup. So he started as they drew 1-1 at home to Millwall. Their next game is tomorrow night, Tuesday night, against Derby County at home. And then on Saturday, they go away to Preston. At the moment, they're top of the Championship on 10 points alongside some other team I can't remember. But so far, so good. And if all things go well, we should see Semi Ajayi back in the Premier League next season. But there's still an awful lot of football left to be played. Moving on to Serie A. It was good to see Victor Osimhen back in the starting lineup for Napoli after his 2-game ban got rescinded to 1. He started the game as they made it 3 wins from 3 so far, with a hard-fought 2-1 win over Juventus. Kalidou Koulibaly scored the winning goal after a Moise Kean error from a Napoli corner kick. I don't know what Moise Kean was thinking, but he basically headed the ball towards his own goal, and Chesney had to save it, and then Koulibaly just kicked it into an open net. Osimhen told during the game, I watched it, but he didn't get too many opportunities, so they need to work out how to get him more involved in the game, because he was making the runs and he was doing all the right things, but they just couldn't find him. They probably need Zielinski or one of those cams who could thread the ball to him more often, or put in actual balls from the width, from the side of the pitch into the box for him to attack. So he's still looking for his first Serie A goal, but good to see his team playing well. As I mentioned with Leicester City, Napoli will be playing in the Europa League on Thursday. It will be nice to see our top strikers in action against each other, and hopefully they both start. And then in Serie A, Napoli play Udinese on Monday night. So hopefully we can see Osimhen get his first goal of the season in that game, at least his first Serie A goal in that game. David Okereke and Terem Moffi of Venezia, one of my favorite games to have had a look at over the weekend. So Venezia, newly promoted in Serie A, they probably got some of the best kids in the entire world. They won their first Serie A game since the year 2001 with a 2-1 win away to Empoli on Saturday, with David Okereke scoring an absolute worldie. When I say worldie, I mean worldie. Like, it was his first Serie A goal, and he picked up the ball from his team's half and ran probably 70 yards, ran past 3 players before slotting the ball into the bottom right corner with his left foot. Superb goal, to be honest. It will definitely be one of the contenders for goal of the season in Serie A, and I hope he just builds on the confidence of that effort. So next up for him, his team plays Spezia at home, so hopefully he'll get back into the starting lineup, because he came off the bench in the last game while Terem Moffi was still missing from the team with his COVID complications, so hopefully he could get back into the team as well. Ola Aina's Torino absolutely thrashed Salernitana at home on Sunday 4-0. Olaino came off the bench in the second half, and Torino have looked pretty good so far this season. Next up for them, they play Sassuolo away on Friday night. And speaking of Salernitana, who've got Siminoako and Joel B, they've now lost all 3 Serie A games and got back-to-back 4-0 losses after their Torino defeat on Sunday. One thing to note, though, is Frank Ribery has signed for Salernitana, so he's now their teammate. And in positive news, if we're looking for fishing for them, Siminoako and Joel Obi both started the game, so that was good to see. It doesn't get any easier for them. Their next game, they host Atalanta on Saturday, so it'll be a miracle if they win that one or get a draw, but we wish them well in that game. And then Kingsley Michael at Bologna, his team beat Verona 1-0 at home on Monday night, but he wasn't in the squad. So I don't know if it's a fatigue issue or COVID issue after he played for Nigeria and Cape Verde on Tuesday. But next up for Bologna, they play Inter Milan, the champions, away on Saturday. So we'll see if he gets back into the starting lineup. And then Isaac Success at Udinese. Udinese beat Spezia 1-0 away on Sunday after an 89th minute winner from a new signing called Lazar Samacic. It was a really good goal as well. I think Success is injured again, because he wasn't in the squad. So we'll keep an eye out on that one ahead of their game against Napoli on Monday night. And then moving on to the Bundesliga, Taiwo Awoni's Union Berlin. He was in action as they drew 0-0 to Augsburg at home on Saturday. A bit of a drab draw. It was a shame he couldn't add to his hot streak of goals scored to start the season. But anyway, their next action soon on Thursday in the UEFA Conference League. They play Slavia Prague away. And then they've got a big game on Sunday away to Borussia Dortmund, where they'll be going up against Haaland and company. So we wish him all the best in that one. Kevin Akpoguma at Hoffenheim, he missed the game on Saturday as Hoffenheim lost 2-0 at home to Mainz. He's probably still isolating because he caught COVID before the international break. But next up for his team, they play Arminia Bielefeld away on Saturday. So let's see if he gets back into the team for that game. And then Dixon Abiyama at Greater Fürth, who are probably the worst team in the Bundesliga at the moment. They lost their 3rd game out of 4. They're newly promoted as well. They lost 2-0 at home to Wolfsburg, who continue to top the Bundesliga with 4 wins from 4. So I guess there's no shame in that one. But Abiyama came off the bench, and he still searched for his first goal in the Bundesliga. So we wish him all the best. And then Kingsley Ezebue was on the bench for Cologne as they drew 1-1 on Saturday to Freiburg away. It doesn't get any easier for Cologne, though. They play Leipzig at home on Saturday. And then moving on to Liga, and probably one of my favorite performances of the weekend, Terem Moffi was absolutely brilliant as Lorient beat Lille 2-1 at home on Friday night. Terem Moffi got the winner in the final stages of the game, and he also had an incredible assist to put his team 1-0 up. He literally bulldozed his way through 3 little defenders. He kicked the ball and he just muscled his way through these 3 little defenders and then squared the ball for Lorient to put the ball in the back of the net. So next up for them, they play Reims away on Sunday. And we wish him all the best. He's definitely looking really, really good. And he must be buzzing after getting yet another cap for the Super Eagles. Then Moses Simon at Nantes. They lost 2-0 to Nice at home on Sunday. To be fair, Nice have looked like the second best team in Ligue 1 so far. Their manager is Jean-Paul Gaultier, who was the manager of Lille when they won the league last season. Kasper Dolberg and Amin Guri scored the goals. No shame in really losing that game because Nantes, with all due respect, are not expected to challenge for like the big positions. But next up for them, they play Angers away, so it doesn't get any easier, but you'd expect a much better performance from Nantes in that game. And then finally in Ligue 1, Samuel Kalou's Bordeaux, he missed the game through COVID, but he lost 3-2 at home to Lens through a last-minute pen. Very, very, very cruel. But they play Saint Etienne away on Saturday, so let's see if he gets back from his COVID diagnosis. And then finally, in terms of the top 5 leagues in La Liga, Samuel Chukwueze is still injured. Villarreal did not play any game this weekend, so their next game will be a Champions League game tomorrow night on Tuesday against Atalanta at home, and then they play Mallorca away on Sunday. I'm not really sure what the situation is with his injury at the moment, so let's see if he makes any of the squads for his team, because Lord knows he needs to just get up back to full fitness and up and running. And then speaking of La Liga, in the women's league, Asisat Oshoala's Barcelona, they've kicked off their season again. They've won 2 games from 2 so far, and on Sunday they beat Real Betis away 5-0 with Oshoala scoring a brace herself. So I mean, pretty much what you expect from Barcelona because they're the best women's team in football. Now the women's game is on international break, so both Asisat Oshoala and the rest of the Super Falcons are headed back to Lagos for the Aisha Buhari Cup, which I'll be touching on a little bit later. And then speaking of Super Falcons, Rashidat Ajibade at Atletico Madrid. Her team have also got 2 wins from 2 so far. They beat their rivals Real Madrid 2-0 on Sunday. Rashida playing 45 minutes and looking generally impressive. She also scored in their first game of the season. So those two are definitely flying the flag high alongside people like Tony Payne at Sevilla. And then finally, Kenneth Romero, Super Eagles centre-back. He did not play for Leganes in the Spanish Segunda as they lost 2-1 away to Sporting Gijon on Friday night. He was not in the squad, but I think it's probably because of the internationals, because teams like Leganes, they don't have international players, which is why it annoys me that Romero's getting called up. But, you know, it is what it is. I would have rather they called up Semi Ajayi, for example. But I understand he's a senior man. He won the AFCON. He's been there for a while. But, yeah, he didn't play. So, yeah, that's it for the top 5 leagues. Moving on to the other leagues in Europe. So, starting with the Premier Liga. It's looking peak for Zedu Sanusi, man. I don't know what's going on with him and Porto. He didn't make the squad yet again as they battled to a 1-1 draw away to Sporting Lisbon on Saturday night. Big result for Porto because Sporting Lisbon are the champions, as you know. So if they could get a draw away, that's a big result. But next up for them doesn't get any easier. They're playing Atletico Madrid away on Wednesday night in the Champions League. And then in the league, they play a team called Moreirense at home on Sunday. So let's see if Sanusi could get anywhere near the good books of his manager again after he clearly has fallen out of favour in the last few games. And then Marcus Abraham at Portimonense, he was not in the squad either as they drew 1-1 away to Boa Vista. Next up for them, they play on Friday at home to Santa Clara. So let's see if he makes the squad in any capacity. And then moving on to the Dutch Eredivisie, Marca Okoye, Super Eagles #1 goalkeeper, he got an impressive 3-1 win at home to Fortuna Sittard on Saturday. There was a heartwarming pic doing the rounds of his father watching him play for his new club for the first time in the stadium, probably with all the COVID restrictions, so that was nice to see. And I love the fact that his dad named him Maruka, whether he's mixed race or not. Yeah, man, you have to give them these Nigerian names for sure. Next up for them anyway, they play Nek Brada at home on Friday night. So let's see if Maduka could get his first clean sheet of the season. And then Cyril Dessers, who plays for Feyenoord, they didn't play any games over the weekend, but they've got a UEFA Conference League game away to Maccabi Haifa tomorrow night on Tuesday. And then they play PSV away on Sunday. So let's see if he features in both games. Remember, he was top goal scorer in the Eredivisie in the 2019-2020 season. So I'm sure he'll be eager to impress and show what he could do again back in a league that he knows very well. And then moving on to the Belgian league, Polonuachu and Ike Ugbo for Genk. They were in action in a 1-1 draw against Union Saint-Gallus at home. Bit frustrating for Genk, to be honest, but Onuachu scored again from the spot. And Ike Ugbo came on in second half for Onuachu. Next up for them, they play in the Europa League on Thursday night away to Rapid Vienna of Austria. And then on Sunday, they also play away again in the Belgian league against a team called STVV. And then speaking of another Belgian league talent, Alassane Youssouf, central midfielder, I think he definitely deserves a look in by Grenoble. He plays for Royal Antwerp. He started again in the 2-2 draw against Eupen away on Saturday. But he will also be playing in the Europa League this Thursday as they play Olympiacos away. So he'll be playing against Onyekuru's team. And then in the league, they play a team called RFC Serang at home on Sunday. So I wish him all the best, and he hopefully continues good form and start to the season. Moving on to the Scottish Premiership, Joe Aribo, Leon Balogun and Calvin Bassey all started as Rangers beat St Johnstone 2-1 away on Saturday. It'll be good if Calvin Bassey could somehow get in the radar of Grenoble, especially considering what's happening to Sanusi at left back, because he plays well at left back and he'll probably be a good addition to the team. Next up for them, they also play in the Europa League. They've got a very, very tasty game against Lyon at home at Ibrox on Thursday night. And then in the league, they play Motherwell at home on Sunday. So that should be a very, very good set of fixtures for them to both play in. And good to see Leon Balogun back in the starting lineup as well for Rangers. Moving on to the Turkish League, Super Eagles captain Ahmed Musa's team Fatah Karagümrük. They beat Adana Demirspor at home 4-0 on Saturday, with Musa failing to make an appearance off the bench. I don't know if it's because of his travels or if they just have better options according to the manager. But we'll see if he plays in the next game on Friday away to Yeni Malatyaspor. And then speaking of Chidozie Awaziem, I know I said last week that it was a bit of an interesting move seeing him go to Alanyaspor. But well, he scored the winner 8 minutes into his debut for his new club as they beat Giresunspor at home earlier today on Monday night. So what a debut for him. I mean, what can you really say if someone's scoring in their debut? But it gets tougher for them though. On Sunday night, they play Galatasaray away. So let's see how him and his new teammates fare in that game, which will be much, much tougher. And then moving on to Fernebahce's Bright Osayi-Samuel. I hope Grenarol's also having a look at him. Because when you play for Fernebahce, he must be a good player. He scored the opening goal for Fernebahce as they drew 1-1 at home to Sivasspor. Their next game is also in the Europa League, so they play Eintracht Frankfurt away on Thursday night. And then they play Istanbul Başakşehir, who were former Turkish champions from 2 years ago, away on Sunday in the league. Although Başakşehir are now really rubbish. I think they've lost all their games so far. And then one player to also talk about in terms of the Turkish league, Anthony Nwakeme at Trabzonspor. He's had an incredible start to the season. He's only ever had one cap for Nigeria, but it doesn't stop him from just being excellent for his club, Trabzonspor. He scored for their fourth consecutive game as they drew 2-2 at home versus Galatasaray, and they remain second in the league behind Beşiktaş on goal difference. Next up for them, they play Kasımpaşa away on Saturday, so let's see if he can keep up his incredible form and start to the season. And then moving on to the Russian league, Chidozie Awaziem, CSKA Moscow. Yeah, another standout performance for him yet again. He was named man of the match in CSK's 2-2 draw away to Arsenal Tula on Sunday night. Next up for him, they play a big game on Monday at home to Spartak Moscow, who've also got Victor Moses in their ranks. And then speaking of the Greek league, Onyekuru's Olympiacos started their league campaign over the weekend with a disappointing 0-0 draw versus Atromitos. Onyekuru did not start the game. He came off the bench in the second half and evidently wasn't able to help with a goal or an assist. But anyway, they also play in the Europa League, as I mentioned earlier. They're playing Royal Antwerp of Belgium, Alassane Youssouf's team. And then on Sunday night, they play against Lamia away. So hopefully Onyekuru gets some starts for his team. And then speaking of the Swedish league, I have to talk about Innocent Bonke. He's probably one of the few Nigerian players who's going to be starting in the Champions League for his team. On Saturday, his club drew 1-1 at home to Norrköping. I also noticed that Norrköping scored a last-minute goal courtesy of a Nigerian player called Samuel Adegbenro. So that was interesting to note. Anyway, next up for them, on Tuesday night tomorrow, they start their Champions League campaign at home to Juventus. And we wish him all the best. As I said, when you consider that him, Zaidu Sanusi, and Samuel Chukwueze are the only Nigerian players playing Champions League this season, it's nice to know that Innocent Bonke is a starter and will definitely start for Malmo, which the same cannot be said for Zaidu Sanusi or Samuel Chukwueze at the moment, especially with Chukwueze's fitness issues. And then after their Champions League game, they play a team called Drew Garden at home on Saturday. And then finally, in terms of the European leagues in Cyprus, Abdullahi Shehu, Atiemwen Iai Believe, and Francis Zoho. So Francis Zoho has moved to Omonia Nicosia. So all three of those Nigerians now play in the same team. Uzoho was not in the squad over the weekend as they started their league campaign, but Abdullahi Shehu started and Atiemwen came off the bench. They lost their league opener 2-1 away to AEK Lanaka, which is a shame considering that they're actual champions. But their next game is away to a team called Kairat in the UEFA Conference League before they play a team called Doxa at home on Monday in the league. And then just to touch on the CAF Champions League qualifiers, at the moment, it's the first round of qualifiers in the Champions League. There'll be another round two of qualifiers, which will then determine the group stages. Both teams who finished first and second in the Nigeria Premier League are currently involved in the first round qualifiers. So that is Aqua United and Rivers United. The good news is both of those teams won their first legs of their first round games. So Aqua United won at home versus Algerian side CR Belouizdad, and Rivers United won 1-0 away against the Tanzanian team Young Africans. So we wish them all the best for their second leg ties, and I'll bring you that update. Just to touch on Super Eagles news or Super Falcons news, the Aisha Buhari Cup starts this week on Wednesday involving the Super Falcons. So as I mentioned earlier, it's the international break for the women's. Nigeria will be involved in this tournament with Ghana, Mali, Cameroon, South Africa and Morocco. And it's going to be played at the legendary Onikon Stadium, which has just been renovated and probably has one of the best, if not the best pitch in Nigeria at the moment, despite its size. Nigeria will be taking on Mali on Wednesday before they face South Africa next week on the 21st of September. I think it's a bit of a round-robin league format, but each team will play 2 games. And I think whoever ends up top after 2 games and scores the most goals will be crowned champions. Kind of like how the Emirates Cup goes in those preseason friendly games. But it's nice to see, the effort being put towards Super Falcons and the development of the women's game. And we wish the Super Falcons all the best. Just to round up the podcast episode with the ones to watch for the weekend and the week, Innocent Bonke's Malmo are in action against Juventus in the Champions League, as I just mentioned. Kelechi, Ndidi, and Victor Osimhen will be facing off against each other on Thursday in the Europa League. And then we'll see Osimhen face off against Udinese on Monday, where he'll get a chance to score his first Serie A goal. But hopefully he could open his overall account against Leicester City. And hopefully we see Kelechi Iheanacho start that game too. Hemiyekuru's Olympiacos are in action against Alassane Youssouf's Royal Antwerp on Thursday in the Europa League as well. And then we see Jaribo, Leon Balogun, and Calvin Bassey playing at home versus Lyon on Thursday in the Europa League. So we have quite a lot of Nigerians playing the Europa League this year. David Okereke is also another one to watch over the weekend. After his incredible solo goal last weekend, he'll be playing against Spezia on Sunday. Probably a team that Venezia would expect to get a result against. And hopefully we can see him start and build on from his winning goal from last week. Taiwo Awoniyi, he's in action against Borussia Dortmund away on Sunday. Tough tie. But if anyone's going to unlock the door for Union Berlin, it's going to be Taiwo Awoniyi and Max Cruz. And then finally, Terem Moffi, after his incredible performance on Friday night against Lille, he'll be in action away to Reims on Sunday. I think Reims is one of the places where they make champagne in France. France have all this fancy stuff. But yeah, we wish them all the best. And that's it for this episode of Nigeria Football Weekly. Thanks again for listening to this episode. I appreciate every single listener. Please spread the word about social media. You can find us on Twitter at NFWPOD, on Facebook at /Nigeria Football Weekly, on Instagram at Nigeria Football Weekly as well. Thanks again for listening. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and click the bell to get a notification whenever we drop a video. You can also find our social media channels listed below. And of course, up Super Eagles and Nigeria no dey ever carry last.